Today I'm going to be covering installing MS-DOS using VMware Workstation. So the first thing we need to do is create a new virtual machine. We want a typical one. Here, definitely check the radio button that says I will install the operating system later. Here, if anything is checked, make sure you check Other. Go down the drop-down menu, select MS-DOS. You can go to Next. Name the virtual machine. I do want it named MS-DOS so I can keep it separate from all the other ones I'm going to make. Here it's asking for the hard disk size, 8 gigs. That's hysterical for DOS. DOS is really small, so we're going to use like 500, although you could probably even get away with like 250 fairly easily. Next, we don't want to finish this yet. We want to customize our hardware, and here are our virtual drives and everything. So we want floppy. Use the floppy image. So we downloaded all of our DOS disks and our boot disk image, and you can see I'm in my DOS folder, but it's only showing me boot disk, so I want to go down here to all files, and I want to boot from disk 1, so I click OK, and then make sure you check connect it power on. So when you power on your virtual machine, it boots from this floppy right here that you just installed. Press OK, press finish, select it, power it on. I'm not sure what that is. I'll figure that out later. To gain control of DOS, since there was no mouse when DOS was around, it was all keyboard interface. So my mouse is useless. I just click inside the screen and now my keyboard is in control. Do we want to initialize the disk? Yes. Do we want to create a partition? Let me get my mouse right here. So we want to what DOS is asking me is which one of these I want to do, and to select it I just pick the number on my keyboard. So I just press 1 and 1 again for DOS primary partition. Yes, use the whole thing. I do not need to verify, so I can hit N. You can see here yes or no. It's fairly simple. Y for yes, N for no. So N, we'll just give it my name, hit enter. Now hit escape because we're done with that part of it. Hit any key, which literally means any key. Don't look for any key, which I've heard of people doing. We want to continue with the installation. Down here you can see the little menu. Enter for accept, escape for do not accept. We're going to hit enter. We'll give it my name again, hit enter. We can use your arrows to navigate around, up and down. We don't need an organization or a serial. Next, next, next again. It's now loading the first disk. And now you can see it's asking for disk 2. So if you were on a real machine with actual floppy disks instead of, these virtual ones, you would actually be taking disk 1 out, putting disk 2 in and hitting OK. But we need to go down here to settings, back to our floppy, and now we need to put disk 2 in. So I need to go to all files again, select disk 2, hit open, hit OK. So now in my virtual machine, disk 2 is in the floppy. Click inside to gain control, hit enter. It's now loading disk 2. We'll come back out here. It wants disk 3. Go back to settings, go to floppy, go to all files, load in disk 3, hit OK, go in, hit enter. To gain control of your mouse back out of VMware, like right now I have no mouse because I'm technically running the virtual machine, which is DOS, which is all keyboard. Hit Control Alt, and if you're wondering, this little tip right here is the opposite of whatever you're doing. Like here it says click in the virtual screen to send keystrokes. That means if I put my cursor in here and click, now I'm inside the system like this, and now you can see it says Control Alt to release the mouse cursor. So Control Alt, I have my mouse back. So it wants disk 4, so we're going to settings, back to our floppy drive, show all the files, select disk number 4, hit OK, go in, hit enter. I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. It's a little bit redundant. Thankfully it's fast. It's going to ask for 5 next, hit OK. It's already ready for 5. After 5 we don't need to get in a hurry because now it just wants us to hit enter to continue. And now we're going to need to restart the system, but we need to boot from the boot disk instead of the floppies 1 through 5. So this boot disk right here, you can see it's still in that same list. That's the one we want to boot from. Hit OK, hit enter. Then here we just arrow up to restart operating system, hit OK, and it should reboot from it's going to ask us start computer with CD-ROM support. They didn't even have CD-ROMs when DOS was around, so we want start computer without CD-ROM support. Now it's brought us to the A prompt, which is, DOS uses prompts. Everything is done by keyboard. All the commands, everything is typed in. But we need the C prompt, so that's very simple. Just type C:, press enter. Now you can see we're at the C prompt, and we need to just make a slight little change because today's computers are so much more powerful and everything than they were back when DOS was around. So we're going to type in edit config.sys. That's edit configure system. Hit enter. Now on that very first line, the cursor is already right there. Just arrow all the way over to the end of the line. Give 1 space, and I'm not sure, you can see all the letters are capitalized, and I'm not sure if ours have to be or not, but I'm just going to press caps lock to make sure. And type in this little command here, which is exclude equals E with 3 zeros dash E with 3 Fs. Now once we have that in, just press Alt and it will take you up to the top menu. You can see, and I can arrow side to side, search view options. Under file, press enter, go to save it, press Alt again, takes us back up there, file again, go down to exit. Now we need to take our boot disk out of our floppy drive, so we go back here to settings, back to floppy, and just disconnect it. Just disconnect it. You don't have to actually clear this out. Just disconnect the floppy. Press OK, and then we're going to reboot our system. I've received that weird CD-ROM error again. Now you can see DOS has loaded, and there's a couple of things we can do to check. We click in here to gain control with our keyboard. We can type in dir, which is directory, or you can type in directory, the whole word. Press enter, and here's my directory, my DOS directory. And we can do one more thing. We can make a directory. So md make directory. We're going to call this one Windows 31 because my next thing is going to be Windows 3.1. Press enter, press directory again, or type in directory again, and now you can see in my new directory I have Windows 3.1, and that is installing DOS.